Hey everybody, it's me, it's Undead Viking. I'm here with another video review. The game that I am reviewing today is called Space Junk. It's either in Kickstarter right now or will be very, very shortly. One of the cool things about going to Gen Con every year, and what I'm going to assume going to other conventions as soon as I start going to them, as soon as I have the time and away from my family and away from my job, is that you get to meet lots of designers and you have lots of conversations. And I met Mike Friesen, the designer of Space Junk, and we had some awesome conversations. I ended up hanging out with him pretty much all day one day, and he talked to me a lot about this game that he was designing, and we talked about the things that it's doing, and I like the idea. The idea is that each person is a somebody that's appearing on a game show, like a what's the one, like just like kind of like a reality space themed TV show where each person is forced to make a spaceship out of junk, recycled crap. Basically, you can see, like, here's this person with a fridge and an elephant and 2 rockets, and obviously this person has a big Christmas tree that they're flying, and so it's very lighthearted, the game is. And the goal is that each person is trying to race around the Earth as many times as they possibly can in a limited amount of time. And along the way, they're blasting at each other with whatever weapons and objects they can possibly find. It's a fun little dice romp that I will show you how to play here in just a few moments. And then I'll come back and I'll tell you exactly what I think. And theoretically, along the way, you'll figure out whether or not this is something you would want on your game shelf. And you can go to the Kickstarter page and check out the options that you have for you. But all right, so let's show you how to play Space Junk, and then I'll tell you exactly what I think of the game. All right, here we go. All right, let's learn how to play Space Junk. Okay, so this is a prototype, so as I always say, the art and the components and what have you are not indicative of what the final game will look like, so just keep that in mind. This is a racing game that goes 6 rounds, and there are 3 phases to each round. There is a movement phase, an attack phase, and a search phase. Each player will get a pilot. As you can tell, some of these don't have art, like this one has art. And each pilot will have stats, movement stat, an attack stat, and a search stat, and then like some background, a name up here, and also just like some a way that the game allows this particular player to break the rules, if you will. And so, Sergeant Ned the Hammer Cole ignores all range penalties. Very powerful when it comes to combat. Winona Fudd, Trailer Park Queen. Once per game during the junk phase, you may draw 1 less junk and select any card from the discard. Stuff like that. And so, as you can see, I just have some starting equipment set up on the board here. This spot is the fuselage. This represents your ship, and where you're going to be putting these cards to designate the different equipment that you have. And the fuselage is right here, and you use all 3 of the stats on this card. So, like, you can see, this is a gingerbread man. It has movement of 2, attack of 1, search of 1. And so you put that as your fuselage. You will add those stats to the stats of your pilot, and the pilot stats are 3, 4, 3. And this is your movement, your attacks, and your search. And so the items that are in those locations, like this compressed air tank, has movement of 2 and attack of 3, but you will only use movement of 2 in this case, in that particular location, because it's a movement card. And so you total up the stats, and then you use these little crystals to mark down how much of each thing. So because of the compressed air tank, I have a movement of 7. Because of the elephant, I have an attack of 8. And because of the X-ray goggles, I have a search of 6 when I add those stats as well to those numbers. So the game is very simple. The first thing you do is you do a movement, and so you have a movement of 7. You'll notice that there are each one of these little spots is a spot that you can move. Your goal is to circle the Earth as many times as possible, because each time you do, it's worth 5 points. You can also get points when you successfully attack another person. That's worth 3, but obviously the 5 is where it's at. You want to get moving fast. You want to be able to do as many orbits as you possibly can. So you can go ahead and so you move a 7, and you can go. You're always going around, obviously, but you can travel however you want. As you can see, though, once you start getting further out, it's farther and farther you're going. So you might be asking, well, why would I want to, have more actions to try to get around? And the reason could be that you want to try to avoid somebody who may be shooting at you, or you notice that there's these numbers 3, 6, and 9, and those are very important when it comes to the search phase of the game. And so, but what you'll do is you just move, and so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and because I want to get out to this second phase when I come to search phase, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to move out to that spot, and I'll explain that once we get to the search phase of the turn. And so I'm not going to do everybody else's movement. I'm just going to, place some of these other ships down, just where maybe they had gotten to on their particular turn. It should be noted that if you ever land on another person, like your exact movement lands on somebody, you get to do a ram attack. And I'll explain that at the very end after I explain the other phases. But just keep that in mind. I'm going to explain the ram here in just a moment. Once you're done with the movement, that's when you can do your attacks. And so if I was to, say, attack this purple ship, because it's the closest one, you have ranges that you deduct from your attack value. So like this, he's 2 spaces away, so that's the closest one. I'm going to attack him because I feel confident in my ability to do damage to him. So I take my attack value, which is 8, and I roll a die, and I got 1, so that's 9. But it's a range of 2, so that's going to bring my total value down to a 7. And what that means is that every multiple of 5 means I do 1 point, like 1 damage. I get 1 damage roll against that particular ship. Now, so if I got 10, I got 2 dice. 15 is 3 dice, and so on and so forth. So you roll 1 die, and I got a 3. And so you'll notice that the cards that designate your ship have these little numbers on them, and you can see that there's a 3 here. And so we pretend we're damaging this ship, even though I was shooting the green, but just so I can show how it works. You spin the card showing that it's damaged. The reason you do that is because you don't lose it automatically once you've been attacked, but that's to designate the fact that once you get to the search phase, you will be discarding that card. So after everybody's done their attacks and gotten points for successfully damaging, so like we're saying the purple one successfully attacked, so that would give them 3 points in that particular spot. And remember, it looks like the blue one, maybe they got all the way around, so they got 5. And the scoring track just works till 9. They get to 10, they go there, and so on and so forth. But now we go into the search phase, and you total up your search value. My search value is 6, and you look at the number of the row that you're in. And whichever number is smaller, that's the total value of your search. So if I had been in this row, I could have gotten to that location, meaning that I was going to, make it to here and score 5 points. But this is worth 3, and my search is 6, but I'm up in that location. So my value is 6, and I can use 6 as my search. And that's important because whatever your search value is, you get to draw that many cards. So there's these this giant stack of cards over here that I'm going to draw 6 of them. We're going to see what we got here. And so, looks like we got electrical tape, 111 across the board. That's not bad. Escargot, it's some of this has art obviously, and some of it doesn't. But movement 1-on-1, a chamber pot. And you can tell this game has a liberal use of humor, if you will. Desk lamps, boxcars. Oh, and I should mention this. This R here on there, that means that this adds to your ramming ability. Normally when you ram somebody, you roll each person rolls a d6, and the person that's doing the ramming gets to add 1. But for every R that you have, it basically means that your ship is stronger and can withstand the damage. And you notice that the elephant actually has that R there. And so, you have that that on there, and so you add one for each one of those, regardless of which side you are on the ram, whether or not you're the person that's doing the ramming or the person that's getting rammed. And fishing trawler, well, you know, that's pretty cool. It's got an R there, so that's pretty good. Well, I'm going to lose my elephant, and this has an attack of 2. But the cool thing about the search phase is that you can kind of move stuff around. So I can take this and I can move it down into that location. Well, I mean, right now we can just go ahead and ditch the elephant, put it in the discard pile since it's not there. And we're going to go ahead and put the compressed air tank in that location because it's got an attack of 3, and we're not going to lose that. But let's put the fishing trawler, actually, you know, because this is a 2-2-1, it's actually better than the gingerbread man. Let's go ahead and put the fishing trawler in that location. The electrical tape is a straight 1-1-1 across the board. So, and I don't really have, well, I have this desk lamp, and that will give me a 1 to search, but also this boxcar is straight across 1-1-1. So let's go ahead and, you know, just put that there. Best we have is an attack of 1, so we'll put the electrical tape there so we get an extra movement. And we'll go ahead and take the chamber part and put that as an attack of 1. Now I have these 2 cards left over. You don't get rid of them. You just put them in your cargo space, and they are there for the next turn when you get done with your search phase, so you can use those cards as well. And now you readjust everything. And so I have to start with, I have a 5 movement, and then I have 6, 7, 8, so I actually improve my movement by 1. I have an attack of 6, plus 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10, so that's nice. We move that to 10. A search of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have a 7 search. And so, you know, so now we have our new stats, and we did everything, and now we start the next turn. And then whoever was the first player, you switch the first player to the next one, and so on and so forth. As I said, the first player, the first turn you can't ram anybody, but after that, what happens is, as I said, like if green should land on another spot, both players roll a die, and you add any bonuses that you might have. If the person who's ramming actually succeeds and gets a better score, you can't tie. Tying doesn't do anything, but if you succeed, you get to take immediately one of their cards off of their ship and put it in your cargo hold for use at the end of the search phase. That's the only time you actually can adjust somebody immediately. You know, because like when you shoot somebody, you actually just flip the cards and nothing happens until the end of the search phase. So that's the only way you can actually adjust somebody's stats is by ramming somebody. So there you go. I mean, that's the game. It's very straightforward. You run around, you race around the Earth as many times as you possibly can, damaging people as much as you can. This is definitely a very light game, but it is, you know, it's very fast, it's very quick, and you know, the whole process of, you know, building your ship and you know, being able to change it on the fly and everything like that, you know, combined with the easy rules, you know, just kind of makes it one of those nice, fun, light dice thrower games. But I'll explain more of that when I tell you about my conclusion here in just a moment. All right, let's do that. You know, one thing that annoys me about these little rocket ships, and these are like, I've seen these rocket ships in so many different board games and so many different prototypes, whatever. You know, the whole thing is that like they have the hole in the bottom or whatever, and you can put the other rocket inside. But the hole is so tiny, and the nozzle or on the rocket is so large that you can't actually like stack them because it wants to wobble. So like as soon as you actually like try to put 3 of them out there, yeah, it's already like drooping over or whatever. Keep your jokes to yourselves. Okay, but anyway, so I don't know. Yeah, that just annoys me. It's like, God, just why not? I want to make a giant rocket. So there you go. Anyway, so that's how you play Space Junk. And like I said, it's not the most complex game you'll ever play. And matter of fact, it's not very complex at all. The game is a dice thrower, and it's not that it's like completely random or devoid of you decisions. It's more of a tactical game, really, than it is truly strategy, because you have choices to make as far as which track you're gonna race around the Earth on, and you have like the decisions you have to make as far as where you're going to be placing your items and stuff like that. But I think one of the key parts of the game that kind of makes it work for me for what it is the fact that it is very, very loose, and it is very forgiving, if you will. I mean, nobody that's going to be playing this game is going to be feeling like they're behind the 8 ball, if you will. They're not going to be under the impression that even though the game is definitely got a lot of luck and randomness as far as with the cards and the dice or anything like that, the whole point of the game, in my opinion, really isn't to deeply think out some awesome strategy and crush your enemies. It's more of just creating this crazy little spaceship and just balls out, flying through space, and just seeing who's lucky enough to win the game. I mean, the things I like about it are the tongue-in-cheek humor, the fact that it doesn't take itself very seriously, and that this is a game I could teach somebody in 5 minutes, and I can have fun. Plus, my daughter loves the heck out of it. She likes making the little spaceships, and she likes doing the things, and she likes ramming Dad's ship and stealing my stuff. And so when I can play a game, and I can play it like a very quick game with my daughter and my wife for that matter, and we can play it in like about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and we're like laughing and smiling and having a good time. I know, at least for me, the game works. And I have played it with my gaming group, and it's kind of like one of those like, hey, let's just play this and goof around. And while each person kind of takes their turn and everybody's having fun, but that's the game where we're sitting there and we're talking about our days, we're talking about our work, we're talking about that movie trailer we just saw, we're talking about a book we're reading. We're talking about the most recent episode of Walking Dead, things like that. And because you don't really have to concentrate on the game, you just kind of okay, whatever. And then at the end of the game, you're like, hey, I won, or oh well, I lost, but I get to blast the heck out of you a few times, and then you fold up the game, and then you take out like the big game that you're going to be playing that night. So, I mean, I wouldn't consider it like a filler by any means, because it's a little bit too much produced, to be a true filler. But it is that perfect like half-hour, 45-minute game when you're playing. If you're playing with 6 people, the game can last 60 minutes. I mean, just because of the fact that each person's got to take their turn and everything like that. But so I think, in my personal opinion, this is a really good 3 or 4 player game, just because then you kind of maintain the quick play style that I think that this game wants to support, and what this theme and this rule set really makes shine. That 30-45 minutes game time really works out well for it. So there you go. Space Junk. Like I said, don't expect it to be like a big brain burn or anything like that. But if you like throwing lots of dice, you like games with a lot of chaos and a lot of goofy humor, and like I said, a game that doesn't take itself very seriously but still manages to entertain you, then definitely check it out. Check out the Kickstarter and back it if you think it's something you want to play. So, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. As always, I really appreciate each and every one of my viewers. If you have any questions or concerns or ideas, please post them, and I will answer those to the best of my ability. And I'm pretty sure Mike will be happy to answer those as well. Until next time, this was Undead Viking. It is late here in Moorhead, Minnesota in my gaming dojo, but I think everybody else in the house is asleep. I got a dog sleeping by my feet right now. But I'm going to head to bed, but until the next time you and I meet, have an awesome day. And again, thank you very much for your time. Bye-bye now.